Welcome to the Demarche YouTube channel. Today begins with the teaching of the Buddha and his teachings. The first part is related to the lay life of the Buddha. Let's go to the video. On the full moon day of May, in the year 623 BC, there was born in the Lumbini Park at Kapilavastu, on the Indian borders of present Nepal, a noble prince who was destined to be greatest religious teacher of the world. His father was King Siddhartha of the aristocratic Sakya clan, and his mother was Queen Mahamaya. As the beloved mother died 7 days after his birth, Mahapajapati Ratamai, her younger sister, who was also married to the king, adopted the child, entrusting her own son, Nanda, to the care of the nurses. Great were the rejoicings of the people over the birth of this illustrious prince. An ascetic of his spiritual attainments, known as Kailadivala, was particularly pleased to hear this happy news, and being a tutor of the king, visited the palace to see the royal babe. The king, who felt honored by his unexpected visit, carried the child up to him in order to make the child pay him due reverence, but, to the surprise of all, the child's legs turned and rested on the matted locks of the ascetic. Instantly, the ascetic rose from his seat and, foreseeing with his supernormal vision the child's future greatness, saluted him with clasped hands. The royal father did likewise. Named Asita, also the great ascetic smiled at first and then was sad. Questioned regarding his mingled feelings, he answered that he smiled because the prince would eventually become a Buddha, an enlightened one, and he was sad because he would not be able to benefit by the superior wisdom of the enlightened one owing to his prior death and rebirth in a formless plane, Arupaloka. On the 5th day after the prince's birth, he was named Siddhartha, which means wish fulfilled. His family name was Gautama. In accordance with the ancient Indian custom, many learned Brahmins were invited to the palace for the naming ceremony. Amongst them there were 8 distinguished men. Examining the characteristic marks of the child, 7 of them raised 2 fingers each, indicative of 2 alternative possibilities, and said that he would either become a universal monarch or a Buddha. But the youngest, Komdanyanya, who excelled others in wisdom, noticing the hair on the forehead turned to the right, raised only 1 finger and convincingly declared that the prince would definitely retire from the world and become a Lord Buddha. A very remarkable incident took place in his childhood. It was an unprecedented spiritual experience which, later, during his search after truth, served as a key to his enlightenment. To promote agriculture, the king arranged for a ploughing festival. It was indeed a festive occasion for all, as both nobles and commoners decked in their best attire, participated in the ceremony. On the appointed day, the king, accompanied by his courtiers, went to the field, taking with him the young prince together with the nurses. Placing the child on a screened and cane-pied couch under the cool shade of a solitary rose apple tree to be watched by the nurses, the king participated in the ploughing festival. When the festival was at its height of gaiety, the nurses too stole away from the prince's presence to catch a glimpse of the wonderful spectacle. In striking contrast to the mirth and merriment of the festival, it was all calm and quiet under the rose apple tree. All the conditions conducive to quiet meditation being there, the pensive child, young in years but old in wisdom, sat cross-legged and seized the opportunity to commence that all-important practice of intense concentration on the breath, on exhalations and inhalations, which gained for him then and there that one-pointedness of mind known as samadhi, and he thus developed the first jhana, ecstasy. The child's nurses, who had abandoned their precious charge to enjoy themselves at the festival, suddenly realizing their duty, hastened to the child and were amazed to see him sitting cross-legged, plunged in deep meditation. To the spot and, seeing the child in meditative posture, saluted him, saying, "This, dear child, is my second obeisance." As a royal child, Prince Siddhartha must have received an education that became a prince, although no details are given about it. As a sign of the warrior race, he received special training in the art of warfare. At the early age of 16, he married his beautiful cousin Princess Yasodhara, who was of equal age. For nearly 13 years, after his happy marriage, he led a luxurious life, blissfully ignorant of the vicissitudes of life outside the palace gates. Of his luxurious life as prince, he states, "I was delicate, excessively delicate. In my father's dwelling 3 lotus ponds were made purposely for me. Blue lotuses bloomed in one, red in another, and white in another. I used no sandalwood that was not of gaslight. My turban, tunic, dress and cloak were all from gaslight. Night and day a white parasol was held over me so that I might not be touched by heat or cold, dust, leaves or dew. There were 3 palaces built for me, one for the cold season, one for the hot season, and one for the rainy season. During the 4 rainy months, I lived in the palace for the rainy season without ever coming down from it, entertained all the while by female musicians. Just as, in the houses of others, food from the husks of rice together with sour gruel is given to the slaves and workmen, even so, in my father's dwelling, food with rice and meat was given to the slaves and workmen. 122 On the march of time, truth gradually dawned upon him. His contemplative nature and boundless compassion did not permit him to spend his time in the mere enjoyment of the fleeting pleasures of the royal palace. He knew no personal grief, but he felt a deep pity for suffering humanity. Amidst comfort and prosperity, he realized the universality of sorrow. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked this video, please like, comment and share. May the triple gem bless you.